Hi! I'd like to talk about today the thing that I found to be the biggest obstacle in healing my mental health struggles, and that is really, truly, wholeheartedly believing that I deserve to get better. So let's get started. When I first started therapy, one of the biggest things that I have tried to work on and realized that I had big issues with was this feeling like I don't deserve good things. This feeling that I don't deserve to feel good, don't deserve good people in my life, I don't deserve to feel good about myself or have things that I wanted, or even express myself healthily and freely. It wasn't a conscious belief where I would sit there at home and be like, oh yeah, I don't deserve anything. It was more of an unconscious driver that was making my life decisions and my actions align with things that were not good for me or healthy for me, and that ultimately were really hurting me. And I figured out why I was struggling with it and where it came from. Obviously, things got easier from there, but to make the jump from changing this feeling to a feeling where I really felt like I could have good things, that I deserved to feel happy and feel fulfilled, took a very, very long time, because it is an unconscious belief that I carried that I had to really work hard to bring to the surface and allow it to change through my actions, through changing my environment, through changing my habits, through changing my thought patterns. I remember one time I was in my therapist's office and I was telling her about my relationship and my push and pull dynamic that I was struggling with at the time. And I remember just being so weirded out by the fact that I just felt like so helpless and out of control when it came to this sort of thing. I just felt like I really couldn't do it. I really couldn't help myself when it came to feeling like I deserved something better. When you live in a state of lack, when you live in a state that teaches you for so long, over so many times, that you don't deserve the things that you want or the things that you truly desire in your heart, if you're in situations that show you for long enough that your life won't go the way you want it to, those things really get ingrained in your mind, they get ingrained in your nervous system, and unfortunately you end up seeking those same types of things, whether it's relationships or whatever activities you're engaging in. The type of things that you seek in your life will end up matching this pattern that's subconscious, that's showing you and repeating this belief that I do not deserve good things. I am not worthy. I've learned a lot of things in my mental health journey. I've learned how to give myself compassion. I've learned how to forgive myself. I've learned how to let other people give me compassion and love, and how to be patient with myself. But this probably has been the most profound and has made the biggest shift and impact on who I am as a person and how far I've come on my journey, is knowing that I actually deserve good things. It's so easy to self-sabotage, to kind of put a wrench in your progress, in your wheels, because when something bad happens to you, and it happens over and over and over again, how are you supposed to be able to accept and allow beautiful things into your life? You have been taught in the past that things are just gonna fall apart. You're just gonna lose whatever it is you gained, and you're just gonna be sad again. So of course you're not gonna wanna allow new things to happen. You're not gonna wanna allow for yourself to be happy. You're not gonna wanna allow people to love you or buy yourself beautiful things or take time to self-care. You're just gonna repeat those same patterns that taught you that you don't deserve things, because that's what feels comfortable, because then you don't have to take a risk and put your heart on the line. And it's so important to remember that it's not the type of change that can happen overnight. You can't just, oh, you know what, I realize now I'm self-sabotaging, and then the next morning you wake up and all of a sudden you're happy, you're walking, you're doing your routines, you're meeting good people, you actually have love to spread. It's not that easy. Depending on how much trauma or how much pain you've been through, this is something that can take a long, long time. It's taken me years to get to the point where I am now, where I'm actually feeling deserving of the things that I have, and I feel like I can reach the things that I want for myself in the future. The steps I've taken to help myself is seeking external help in the form of a therapy or somebody that I trust. I try not to overshare in my personal relationships because that can really take a toll on the relationships. Learn from experience. Having a therapist is something that has made profound change in the steps I've had to take for bettering my mental health. Having a professional that can help you, give you a different point of view, and lets you vent to them without judgment has been so imperative in my healing journey. To have a space to go back to every time you go through things and to get no judgment is something I'm super grateful for. I've heard of accounts of people that have been dropped by their therapist, and it's so awful. I couldn't imagine being dropped by mine. When I was having a lot of abandonment issues, she was still there, and I am eternally grateful to this day that she has stayed there, because God knows what would have happened if I was dropped while having abandonment issues. The second thing is develop compassion and kindness for yourself. Imagine somebody that you really love. It doesn't have to be a person, it can be a pet or a plant. Imagine if they're struggling and they don't really get the compassion that they need. Instead of letting these voices in your mind tell yourself that you're not good enough, or that you cannot be forgiven for your mistakes, or oh my God, you fell into this pattern again, try to tell yourself tomorrow will be better. Try to tell yourself next time you'll try, things will actually work out. This is not a change that will happen overnight, but over time, these small changes compound and become a big shift in who you are. One thing that really helped me build compassion for myself has been meditation and yoga. I've been a consistent practitioner for years now, and I was able to drop into such a deep level of understanding and allowance and acceptance of who I am and the world around me that I would recommend that to anybody. It doesn't have to be crazy practices. Living where I am in the United States and the Western world tells you that you have to have everything perfect, you have to have everything on schedule, everything has to be perfection, but it really doesn't. And I'm not saying we have to let ourselves be lazy and slack, but it's so important to allow ourselves to have space to rest and to take things in our own pace. For example, my body can only stretch in certain ways now after I'm 26. When I was 20 and I was practicing yoga, I was able to stretch anywhere I'd like, to an extent. Now the way I stretch is different. Sometimes I'll have struggles in certain places. I have a certain body posture now that makes it a little harder for me to stretch. So it's so important to meet yourself where you are. If you can meditate for 5 minutes, that's fine. If you can meditate for 30, that's great. Consistency is key, and it's the same for having compassion for yourself. It's important to just be consistent in having compassion for yourself. That's going to get you where you need to be. Number 3, continue finding resources if you can. Finding resources on the internet is one of my favorite things to do as far as any of my hobbies. Psychology is something that I love, and I always look for new articles or even people's experiences with certain things that I struggle with, and it really helps to have that extra point of view and that extra information on hand. That's it for today. Thank you for watching and joining. I hope this has been helpful. Remember, you can heal and everything will be okay.